Do my 3D printers ever get a break? I don't think so. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for Monday, January 31st, 2022. And it's the last day of the month already. So first month of 2022 is just about over, and it is day 693 of COVID, and I wish that was over, but it is not. So moving right along to what I have been making, well, these. This is the quilt that I'm working on. It's not a quilt, actually. It's a wall hanging. It's an In the Hoop project, and it's a bookshelf or bookcase type of wall hanging that features shelves with various books on them. Now, I've made 3 of the blocks already, but there's about 16 blocks in this particular design. I can have more if I want. We'll see how that works out. They don't take that long to make each one, but I haven't been really working on them steadily because I've had another project I've been working on, which I'm going to show you in a second. But these are coming along here nicely as well, and I think I'm going to do a couple of books that have more personalized titles to them, like The Idiot Quilter, Bland Designs, things like that, just to interweave it into the wall hanging and make it a little bit more unique to me. Now, the other project I've been working on, and this has been a big problem. This is supposed to be a Bargello, and I mentioned it last week as I was working on it that I wasn't very much impressed with the pattern. Now, I'm going to say more about that and something else that I've discovered about this pattern, but I'm going to save that for the Idiot Quilter when it comes out later tomorrow. Because this is probably not something everybody that watches my vlog is necessarily interested in. It is very colorful. I love the colors in it. I love the fabric that I used. But if this was truly a Bargello, you see this design that's happening here, that's coming down? Well, that would have continued over here and gone up and down. But somehow, and again, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter, I screwed up. Well, it wasn't totally my fault, but yeah. Tune in tomorrow to the Idiot Quilter for that. But anyways, I'm not ripping it out to get that in there. I'm going to leave it. I'm calling it a semi-bar. Semi-Bargello. Half a Bargello kind of a thing. So I'm calling it semi-bar. And that's my name. Don't blame me. And no judgment, as they say. And what I think I'm going to do is this gives me an opportunity to really feature quilting on this. So I have a fairly dense quilting pattern that is a combination of feathers and pebbles that I think would look really great on this quilt, because this whole space here really is just squares in a diagonal formation. So it would fill that in a little bit more and maybe take the eye away from the patchwork and more to the quilting, which is not something that I really do. I think I might use some very bold colored thread that's going to really stand out from this. And because this has quite a few different colors in it, I'm thinking right now that maybe white is the way to go. It's a bit of a risk. Well, everything I make's a bit of a risk, you know. And that's what I love about doing this kind of stuff, because it's a bit of a challenge. But I think I can manage it, and I think it'll look, well, interesting to say the least. So it is unique, this quilt. It's my own design, so to speak, but not because I purposely designed it that way. And yeah, I'll show you the end result when I get the quilting all done and get this bound. So that's 2 of the projects that I have been working on. And we'll just go back to me here. And so that takes me to the YouTube channel of the week. And lately I've been really into watching history channels on YouTube, things that talk about various ages in, you know, life. I especially like the ones that talk about social history as well, as opposed to political history. And I like the ones about Britain. Now, when I was in university, I did take quite a few courses in British history because although I didn't minor in history, I was very close to having a minor in history. I focused more on English because I was going to be an English teacher. So I have a, what they call it at the time, they called a specialized honors major in English literature. So there wasn't room to take the necessary number of courses in a second subject area that would give me a minor. But I came close. So history's always been something I've really been interested in. And so I came across this by accident. It's called History Tea Time with Leslie Holiday, and it's really quite interesting. So here's my review of that. This week's YouTube channel is called History Tea Time with Lindsay Holiday, and you know I have a real love for history and for royalty, and this YouTube channel meets both of my requirements. So you can see here, this is the opening page to it, but let's take a look at the list of videos to get a sense of what this YouTube channel is talking about. And you can see here, they have Dollar Princess, The 6 and 8 Wives of Ivan the Terrible, The History of Dieting, Big Royal Quiz of 2021, King George V's Children, Scandalous Siblings, King George V Children, Brothers Kings, Royal Christmas in Germany, etc. There is quite a lot about the royalty on here. And if you're a monarch watcher like I am, or a royalist, you're going to love this channel because it gives you a lot of interesting information as well as very entertaining. So if you're into that kind of thing, I think you're really going to like it. And what I like to do with this is when I'm looking for something to watch and I just want something in a sort of a documentary format, I will go to this particular channel because there's a lot here to be seen. So this is called, as I said, History Tea Time with Lindsay Holiday. Check it out. So that takes me to my links and resources this week. There is a link to Stephen and Walter Live. Actually, you're going to find quite a few links this week, and do look through them carefully because there's some very important stuff here I'm going to talk about in a moment. So Stephen and Walter Live yesterday, the link is for it. As usual, we talked about a whole lot of things, and we also ended up talking about the whiny truckers. And I'm going to say more about the whiny truckers a little bit later in today's episode. There is a link, of course, to the Idiot Quilter episode 151. It's all about gnomes. You know how I'm into gnomes. And we'll talk about those a little bit later, too. And I have an interview. Yes, haven't had an interview in a while. This is with Kristen Hubert of Scrap Fabric Love. Great interview. This lady is Canadian, but she's been living in Edinburgh, Scotland for about 19 years. So if you haven't checked that out yet, do check it out. She's really interesting. And there's a So Chatty, episode 45. Walter and I decided to talk a little bit about retreats, both physical retreats and virtual retreats, and, you know, how they compare, how you prep for each type and that kind of thing. And yes, you will find 3 very important links as well. One is to Craft and Chat. Craft and Chat is coming up this Wednesday, so in 2 days' time, February the 2nd, Groundhog Day, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, running until about 4 p.m. You can come and go as you please. If you can't make it at 1, but you can get in there at 2, that's fine. If you can't stay till 4, you have to leave at 3, that's fine. Are we just quilting? No. Quilting, sewing, knitting, crocheting, art, painting, art journaling, scrapbooking, cleaning out your underwear drawer, whatever you want to do. It's just a lot of fun. The other thing you're going to find, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this later in a little bit more detail, are 2 links for the Idiot Quilter March Retreat. And as I said, I'll speak to that a little later on in today's episode. So lots there happening. So what's life looking out like outside my window right now? Well, here's the picture I took about a half an hour ago. There it is. You can see we still have snow. Now, we haven't had really any fresh snow since the big dump a week ago. We've had a little bit of dusting, but that's about it. But you can see that the road is pretty much bare now, but we do have snow piling up. Now, we had more, and later on I'm going to show you what I mean by that, but we have had more snow a week ago. So this has melted a little bit, although the temperatures have been pretty cold in the last week. Hovering around anywhere from -8 to about -13 Celsius. So that's cold. Bit, brisk if you want to go out for a walk. So yes, it does look a little gray today. And as I look out my window now, and now it's just after 8 o'clock, it is still kind of a gray day, but that's to be expected this time of the year. Welcome to my environment. So yeah, that's what's happening outside my window today. So let's talk a little bit about what's been happening on the COVID front. Stupid people. And the stupidest people right now, or the flavor of the month, are the truck drivers. Now, first let me say I have a great deal of respect for the truck drivers. They are a necessary part of our logistics chain. They get our food here for us, especially this time of the year, since we can't grow a heck of a lot of our own in Canada, so we depend upon it coming up from the south, from the United States. They deliver our packages, all kinds of things. They are essential to our way of life, yes. But they've decided to create a convoy that was going to Ottawa, that's the capital of Canada, to protest vaccinations. Our government has said, and rightly so, and has my full support, that all truckers, if they're crossing the border, which most of them do, need to be vaccinated. Well, 86% or a little bit more than that, according to the Truckers Association, are vaccinated. Good for them. Right. And it's only logical they should get vaccinated because this is their livelihood. They are putting themselves in harm's way to get their goods and deliver them. This is how they make their living. So yeah, it makes real sense to be vaccinated. Okay, it's common sense. But apparently there is a group of them who have rallied many of the truck drivers together for this convoy to say, no, we don't need to be vaccinated. You can't make us do that. Blah, blah, blah. Our personal rights. Blah, blah, blah. Where have we heard this before? Well, of course, along their route from as far away as BC to Ottawa, that's about 5,000 kilometers. There's been people standing on the side of the highways with Canadian flags and other banners and things. Talk about that in a minute. Supporting them. Now, you know that the vast majority of those people that are supporting those truckers are anti-vaxxers themselves, because they'll jump on any bandwagon they can to protest that their personal rights are being taken away from them, their body, their right, all that shit. Okay, and that's what it is. It's bullshit. So they get to Ottawa, and I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen the news today to see what's happening with that. But, well, the government is not going to back down on this, and they shouldn't. They're not going to give in to this small bunch of stupid minority, because they are stupid. There's just no ways about it. They're stupid. Did I tell you they're stupid? They're stupid. And I have no respect for those truckers who are putting up this fight. Fight for other things in the world that are, where you could put your energy into it. Get your damn vaccination and do your job. That's easy. People in restaurants had to be vaccinated. People in other facilities had to be vaccinated. So what makes you so special? You're not special. Yeah, I know you're hurting. We're all hurting. Come on. This virus is not discriminatory. We're all being hurt in one way or another. So get on the bandwagon, get your vaccination so we can get over this thing. But no, they're off to Ottawa. And their supposed supporters, who are not necessarily truckers, are flying the Canadian flag upside down in protest. They're flying the Confederate flag, and they're flying flags or banners that have Nazi symbols on it. What? I couldn't believe that when I saw it. We're Canadians. There's so many things so wrong with that on so many levels, it just boggles the mind. Confederate flag. We're Canadians. So we have nothing to do with the Civil War that happened in the 1860s in the United States. We've never really had a civil war in this country, unless you count the 1837 Upper Canada Rebellion as a civil war. That was over very quick. And it was like not even a war kind of a deal. I don't know. So the Confederate flag means absolutely nothing to us. And I know that the Confederate flag also represents discriminatory attitudes towards people of color as well. So it is wrong on so many levels in this country. And the swastika, do I need to explain that? Apparently, those people, and they're probably white supremacists that are infiltrated into the anti-vaxxer group there, are using this as well. Not good. In fact, just by putting those two things on display, I think constitutes a hate crime in our country, according to our laws, and I wish the cops had gone in and arrested all those people. They have no rights when it comes to hate crimes. Then, of course, they had to hang things around certain statues in Ottawa. And one of those statues is a true Canadian hero. Now, I have talked about heroes and how we glorify certain individuals like athletes and that and make them into heroes, and they're really not heroes. But this is a hero, Terry Fox. And if you don't know who Terry Fox is, Terry Fox was a young man that in the 70s, he had cancer. He had lost a leg to cancer. And he decided to raise money for cancer by running from one end of the country to the next end of the country. Unfortunately, he never made it to the end because his cancer was terminal and he died from it. But we honor Terry Fox with all kinds of different memorial things since that time. One of them is a statue in Ottawa. And we also have the Terry Fox Run every year, which is a major fundraiser for cancer. Terry's a hero. He's a true Canadian hero. And they're hanging things around his statue, throwing a trucker's hat on him and the whole bit. That's appalling. As far as I'm concerned, that is marking up. It's just blasphemy, to say the least. So, this is not doing much for the truckers' cause. Okay, if you want to protest about it. You do have the right to do that. But you have attracted all of the nuts out there, the anti-vaxxers. Do you want to be associated with that group of people that are sitting there and using Nazi symbolism in the Confederate flag as showing support for your cause? Stupid. Just stupid and appalling. And I can't say enough about how I feel about anti-vaxxers. They need to be wiped off the face of the planet. They are a useless waste of oxygen. So, it's to be seen now how our Canadian government is going to handle this protest. I think what's going to come out of it is that Trudeau, our Prime Minister, is probably going to make some kind of public statement that basically will say, we recognize your right to protest. However, we're protecting the rights of all Canadians. And blah, 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 blah. And good for him. I can't see Justin Trudeau backing down for the sake of the truckers. I mean, basically, they're not going to disrupt the supply chain. This is their livelihood. They can't afford to take a lot of time off. And as I said, the Truckers Association is not supporting them either. And it's saying that 86% of its membership are double vaxxed So there you go. Yes, here in Canada, we too have our crazies. It's not limited to any country in the world. We have them too. Okay, so product reviews. Well, I did buy some stuff from Amazon this past week, but you know, if I didn't, it just wouldn't be a happy day, would it? I mean, day without sunshine is a day without Amazon. So, or a day without Amazon is a day without sunshine, as I always say. But the stuff I bought is boring. I bought some command strips and I bought some filament. That was about it. I am having a little bit of a problem with an order that has nothing to do with Amazon. It has to do with a quilting store out in BC that I ordered a pattern from at the first of the month and still haven't seen. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter because I think that's a discussion more appropriate for that episode. Okay, so have I been making things on my 3D printer? Yeah, of course I have been. And I'm just going to show you here what I've been up to and making. So here's a cute little guy. Of course, it's a gnome. I'm all about gnomes at the moment. This is a flower pot. It's a big one. You've seen this design before when I made it with my gnome set that I gave to Shirley at Ultimate Sewing, which she absolutely loved, and that made my day. But I decided to blow this one up because I root philodendrons, another little hobby I have from COVID that I started, and I've got quite a few now rooted sitting in my kitchen. And I put them all when they get to the point where I can transplant them, you know, take them out of the water that I'm rooting them in and put them in soil. I have a whole variety of different types of pots that I've 3D printed. Well, this one is going to be for a future philodendron. Cute little guy. Now, the filament I used on this, I'm not that thrilled with. It was called Steampunk Rainbow. Kind of. Looks like tarnished bronze or something like that. It's kind of interesting, but it's kind of rough, I found. I don't know if my temperature was high enough or not, but for a flower pot, it's fine. It'll work out no problem. And the other thing I've been making, which I thought these were just fun, wacky candle holders. And there's a little candle in each one's top of their head. That's what they sit on. And the idea is you put in an LED candle. I certainly wouldn't recommend using these with a real candle for a variety of reasons. But as the candle melts down, there is enough heat from it. It could maybe sort of melt slightly the plastic that's used in this filament. I don't know if it would or not. But anyways, I just thought they were quite comical. So I made several of these, and I think I've made about 4. There's only 3 showing here. I especially love this guy here. This is my newest reel of rainbow filament, and it worked out really well with him. In fact, this little guy's made out of that steampunk filament again. Still not happy with him, so I redid him in the rainbow, and he turned out a little better. And this guy's really quite big. This picture doesn't really show you how big he is, but he's really quite a size. I think he took 2 days to print, but they were just fun. So, you know, when I've got these all done, I need some place to display them. So yes, my new shelving. Hexagons, 3D printed. These are so cool. Now you might wonder how I have them stuck on the wall. Well, that's why I ordered more command strips without the hooks, just command strips. Because I have found that command strips really hold things well to a wall, and when you want to take them off, they really don't mark up your wall, usually. So I've got about 3 of these on the back of each one of these hexagonal shapes, and they're holding up there really well. There's not a lot of weight on these because these 3D printed things are all extremely light. Now, I've just added some more to the wall this morning before I went on air. Let me see. And I don't, if you look right over my shoulder, right up there, you can see I now have 6 of those shelves, and I'm putting gnomes on them. And as we speak, I'm working on some more shelves for another area as well. I'm really liking these because I think they're really quite Cool. So yeah, that's a practical print. What they call a practical print with a 3D printer. For shelves like this, because I mean, you can put anything on them. Great in a sewing room to display your threads or things like that. Ooh. Idea. Display my threads. Okay. Keep that in the back of my mind. All right, so that's what I've been working on the 3D printing. And that takes me now to Blast from the Past trip. This is Melbourne Day 2 from February the 6th, almost, well, 2018. So what's that? Oh my God, that's almost 4 years ago. Seems like yesterday. I don't get this. I think it has to do with age. The older I get, the faster time goes by. You know, I used to hear that when I was much younger from older people. They're right. It's scary how fast the time goes. So anyways, this was Melbourne. Melbourne is a wonderful city. I think I like Melbourne better than Sydney. Sydney's nice too, but I think I really like Melbourne more so. So here's my next installment from my Blast from the Past trips.
Okay, so this is our second day in Melbourne, and we're starting out today by taking a walk through one of their many parks, and this is the Fitzroy Gardens. We were here last year when the cruise ship stopped for a couple hours here at Melbourne before it went to Sydney, and it's quite a nice garden, and Captain Cook's house supposedly is here as well. We did see that the last time we were here, but we didn't go in, and I don't know if we'll go in today because you'd pay admission for what, to see old furniture. And it's not the original anyways. I think it's a reproduction, or they moved it here or something like that from wherever it came from before. And of course, down here, Walter is lathering on the sunscreen as well because it is quite warm already. And it's just after 10 o'clock and it's about 22, 23 degrees C, and it's supposed to go up to about 31 today. So this is just another area of Fitzroy Park, and you can see this is where the ducks all hang out. Very nice, very peaceful, very scenic. And there's Walter taking a picture. There's a warning here. So we're continuing on our way through Fitzroy Park. You can see it's quite a big park. Oh, we're not?
No.
Oh, okay, I thought we were.
You have to cross that street.
Okay, I stand to be corrected. Well, it's a park. You can see some of the skyline here of Melbourne, which is kind of nice. Very lush. Far cry from what it looks like at home right now.
Technically, this is called the Treasury Gardens.
It's called the Treasury Gardens?
Yeah.
And
it's
it
a
leads...
JFK Memorial.
Oh, okay.
And the next place over will be in Fitzroy Gardens.
Okay, well, let's carry on. And now we're in Fitzroy Garden proper. And you can say, tour group. Let's run from the tour group. Run. They will eat us.
Well, there's the conservatory that we were at.
Oh yeah, let's go back in there. That's it. This conservatory was really quite nice inside. We were in there a year ago. A little more than a year ago now. 14 months, maybe. So this is the conservatory, which we're heading into. It's very pretty. Very lush. at the puppy. Oh, look at the puppy. Tour group. So we're at Cook's Cottage now, which I've already mentioned. And it says Cook's Cottage was constructed in 1755 in the English village of Great Ayton by the parents of James Cook. It was shipped to Victoria and re-erected in the Fitzroy Gardens in 1934. The cottage commemorates Captain James Cook, who in 1770 mapped the east coast of Australia from Point Hickst in Victoria to Possession Island north of Queensland. The oldest building in Australia, it is open daily for a price. And you see over there, I'll move in a little bit. They're dressed in period costumes, and I don't think we'll bother. If you've seen one old piece of furniture or some crockery, you've seen them all. So this is another park. What was this park called? Parliament Park or Parliament Gardens? Yeah. It's kind of a unique looking fountain. Got a good surround view here. The parks in Melbourne are very, very nice. And they're all within the middle of the city. Lots of green spaces. Good urban planning. Okay, so this is the Melbourne Museum. Looks like they might have an IMAX since they're advertising it. Big place. Hard to get it all into one shot. But we're going to go inside and see what there is to be seen. Okay, so we're inside the Melbourne Museum right now. And they don't really have maps, unless you're Chinese. Then you can get a map. And I don't read Mandarin, so not very good for me. But anyways, we're heading somewhere in here and we'll see what we'll see. It's a very nice looking museum, very modern. So we'll see what we'll see. So for the next little while, I'm just going to take random shots or video of different parts of the museum. This is the Aboriginal or Native Peoples display, and it goes on for days, as you can see. And there's a native. Nope, it's just Walter. Oh, scary. Of course, what museum would not be complete without dinosaurs? Dinosaurs, dinosaurs, dinosaur. Dinosaur. A regular zoo of dead animals. I do not like looking at dead animals. There's something spooky about it. There's a couple of monkeys.
marsupial carnivore.
Ew, live bugs, where are they?
They're all over.
look
They're
at
crawling all over the place.
Ooh. Ooh, it's making me feel itchy.
Female German cockroach.
Ew.
European loss.
Don't push the button.
They're in. They come from Perth area.
Oh, so we're going to Perth and we're going to be covered in cockroaches.
So that's why
More bugs? Cockroaches?
There's a striped cockroach that's down way after this area.
they only want one bite of skin or something, but they're still
Back there.
so they won't sting or hurt. So it's
Not native.
So they don't.
Dead cockroaches. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them on that, those black
They
things.
have a technique.
Okay, this is a section in Melbourne called Fitzroy. It's an old section. And it's sort of got a lot of trendy places to eat, things like that. And we're looking for a place to have lunch. Okay, so I'm having lunch and see if I can change this so I get the back right. It's better. So I'm having a steak sandwich that has a honey on it, which will be a little different. And what are you having?
Chicken burger.
Chicken burger. You have chicken burger yesterday?
Yeah, so what?
Look at this place.
Actually, now I'm looking at a meatball wrap over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's okay.
Glasses?
No, that's okay.
We're good. It's kind of an interesting little place. And we're drinking a Carlton Dry. We're still in Fitzroy, and this is just another part of the place. We had a really good lunch at a place, and there's some very interesting shops and things down here. I have a feeling it is a place that may have been very old at one time and now has become very, very trendy. Certainly lots of interesting places to eat for sure. Like, here you go, if you want a donut.
Good than Nutella ones.
Nutella ones? Where's the Nutella ones?
Oh,
My God. Oh yeah. Oh, I wish I wasn't so full right now. I haven't had a donut in years.
Kit Kat.
What's that?
Kit Kat on top.
Yeah, $6.70 for a donut, $8 for Stranger Rings. Montello Jordan, $8 is the Nutella ones. Liam Hemsworthy. Jam. Oh, they look too good. And then you have art. Okay, we saw this place advertised on TV, and it's one of the popular places down here in Fitzroy, and it's called the Ice Bar. And apparently, you go in and they give you coats and jackets to wear, and it's -10 inside, and they serve the drinks in specially made ice cube-like glasses and things like that. Okay, come on, we're Canadian. -10 for a cold drink. We can just go out on our deck any day of the week in the wintertime and have a drink on it. Same diff. So that takes me to what's been happening in the past week. Well, we had more snow earlier in the week, and I thought I'd take a couple of pictures of what the snow looks like from my deck at the back of my house. My deck is raised. It comes off of our kitchen, and we live in a raised bungalow. So technically speaking, when you're out on our deck, you're up on a second story. And it gives a wonderful view of the forest behind us. And the snow just makes it look so beautiful.
So this gives you an idea. The sky that day was a beautiful shade of blue, and those are the trees. And those are just beyond the edge of my backyard. And it's one of the reasons why we bought this house 27 years ago on this particular lot, because of the trees. That's actually a Boy Scout reserve that's in behind us. And I think I have told you that before, but you can see that big lump in foreground, that's our barbecue. Little buried. I don't think we're going to be barbecuing anytime soon on that, but it's just so pretty. And here's a shot, another shot off the balcony, off to the side. Again, I just had to take a picture of that tree because it's so fluffy looking. And you can get an idea of the depth of the snow too from what's sitting there on the railing of our balcony as well. Now, looking out the front window of my house, the same day, it was early in the day, actually it was later in the day, because that's the east there. And no, that must have been earlier in the morning when I first got up. Yeah, because the sun's kind of coming up, and that's the east. The balcony is a western exposure. So you can see a little different from about a week ago than what the picture I showed you earlier of what things look like today. You can see that we've had a bit of a melt down. But I love the snow on the tree in the front too. So yeah, that's winter here in Canada, or at least in southern Ontario, which is a little bit more temperate environment than most of Canada. Okay, so another thing that happened this week was Walter's birthday. Walter turned 64 on the 27th of January. Now that makes us both the same age. He likes to say that he's a year younger than me. Technically, he's only 6 months younger than me, because in 6 months' time, I turn 65. But this isn't about me, this is about Walter. So what did we do? Well, I had planned, and I did, make Walter dinner and have our own little private celebration. And one of my dishes that he does like, and there's not many he does like, is the recipe I use for veal piccata. And that's an Italian dish, and essentially it is veal that is cooked in sort of a sauce. Sauce is fairly rich. There's a lot of butter in it. There's some wine in it, and there's capers and onions, and yeah, it's a nice, it's not a difficult dish to make, which is probably a good thing for me. And I was going to take pictures and a video of making it, and I forgot to again. Yeah, but anyways, it turned out nice. He liked it. He said he liked it. He didn't say it was fine. If he ever tells me something is fine, it means never make that again. So he liked that. We had a Caesar salad to start with on that, some nice bread, and we had bought a great big double bottle of champagne, because Walter is a champagne slut, as you know, and he loves his champagne. We still have that bottle of champagne because Walter had a little bit of a problem. He wasn't feeling 100%. Now, don't worry, it was not COVID. And I don't want to go into the details. It wasn't anything, turned out it wasn't anything serious. But it just, it did put a little damper on his birthday dinner. However, we still did have champagne because he'd been out earlier in the day to get a medication that he needed. And he picked up a regular sized bottle of Prosecco, which is basically Italian champagne. So we had that instead. So we've got a big bottle of champagne for some time down the road that we will drink then. Now for dessert, we had tiramisu. Tiramisu is an Italian style dessert, which is kind of a coffee, chocolatey flavored kind of thing that has cream in it, whipped cream and things, and it uses lady fingers, which are a very soft, cakey kind of food. I don't know how better to describe that. Most people probably know what I'm talking about with lady fingers. Now, we have made tiramisu ourselves before, and it isn't difficult, but it is somewhat time consuming to make. And Sometimes you can't get all the ingredients readily. Like ladyfingers are not that easy to find in our grocery stores for some reason. I don't know why that is. Yes, you could make your own. Yeah, well, 3 days later, you've got tiramisu. When you can actually get it, though, an easier way, Costco. Costco had 6 packs of tiramisu. They were in a nice little glass container, like you can use the glass later for other things. Um, and for something like $10 for 6 of these, and it's great. It You can't tell if you were to serve this. I swear, if you were to serve this to company, they would think you made it. And my philosophy is, if you can buy something that's just as good as what you can make, why not buy it? So we had that, and that was kind of nice too, for dessert. So yeah, that's how we celebrated Walter's birthday. And if it had been the old days pre-COVID, we would have gone out for dinner, probably to the Keg. That's our favorite restaurant. Um, you know, and I guess Walter looked up, just as an aside here, I think we'll have sticker shock whenever we can go to a restaurant again. Um, and when I feel safe enough to go to a restaurant. I mean, things today are opening up again, 50% capacity in restaurants for indoor dining. I'm still not going because I still don't feel safe. I mean, we still have new variants popping up all the time. So anyways, don't want to dwell on COVID, but he did look up the prices if we had been able to go to the Keg, and looked up their menu and what they're charging. Yeah, sticker shock, stickers. Yeah, sticker shock. Things have gone up a lot. So yeah, we'll need to take out a small mortgage if we ever want to go to that restaurant again. And I think that's the same everywhere. Prices are going up. I think the price is going up. Yeah, things are costing a little bit more to get them in. But I think restaurants and retailers and that are using that as an excuse to make sure they're making the same profit level that they were making pre-COVID, or even higher. Because once they put their prices up during COVID, and if, let's say, tomorrow COVID was over with and everything was free and we could go back to a completely normal life again, those prices are not going to drop. You can bet on that. Have you ever seen a time when prices have all gone up across the board and then suddenly they just all drop down again? No, that doesn't happen. So anyways, so that's what we did for Walter's birthday, and nothing else last week of any excitement happened. Now, what's coming up this week? Well, several things are coming up, not just this week, but a few weeks in the future. First of all, it looks like we are actually going to be able to do our little housewarming party for my friend who's just moved in to his brand new apartment. And so I'm looking forward to that. And he has a little cat, as I've mentioned to you before, and I'm really excited about meeting this kitty. I am. I don't know what it is. And I know this is going to make me want to get a cat again. And I have been fighting that urge. Because one, there isn't any cat that could ever replace our Cleo. And I suppose you shouldn't look at it as a replacement, just as an addition. Okay. The other thing is too, there were times when, you could basically kill your cat because they're cats and cats do what they want. But, I don't focus on some of the bad things that Kitty did. I focus on, the good things, which were there are a lot more good things than bad things, But at the same time, if we ever should be able to travel again, then we have all of that worry again. I mean, to be quite honest, our little Cleo passed away in 2015. And, from the videos I've been showing you, we did Australia after Kitty had passed. In fact, that's what we said. We were always going to do Australia once we didn't have to worry about Kitty. It was a bit of a joke, but not really, because we knew we'd be gone a long time. And although we would definitely had made arrangements so that she would not be on her own and she'd be looked after well and the whole bit, we still worried about her anytime we went away. So we didn't. When she passed away, we said, okay, we're free. We can go to Australia without the worry about Kitty. And so we did 3 times. And we're not done yet. We would like to go back to Australia for a 4th time because we love it. Absolutely love it. So if we got another little creature, we're back to, we'd be gone a minimum of 3 weeks. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to live vicariously. My cat lived vicariously through my friend's cat, I guess. But anyways, how to get on that? So that's one thing coming up this week. Craft and Chat, I've already mentioned. That's Wednesday, February the 2nd, starting at 1 p.m. All are welcome. Links in the show notes. The big thing is, and I've already told you about this, but things are getting finalized now. And I've sent out a notice about this to people who had been at my previous retreats. And March the 5th is the date for the Idiot Quilter retreat. So 1-day retreat starts at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, my time zone, and will run until about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there will be prizes. There will be little surprises as well. And I'm trying to line up a few special guest speakers as well. I have one that's confirmed right now who is not a quilter. She is a crafter. And that's fine because the Idiot Quilter Retreat, although quilt's in the name, all are welcome. Whether you are a quilter, a knitter, a crocheter, a sewer, a painter, an art journalist, a scrapbooker, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's open to all. And so I'm trying to find people to present interesting things that kind of cover that spectrum as well. Now, I'm waiting to hear from 2 other people yet, but I will say this. If by chance you have something you would like to present that you think other people would be interested in, let me know. Send me an email explaining what that is, and we'll talk about it. See if we can set that up as well. Now, I don't want to fill the day with a whole lot of speakers, and I am putting some limitations on the speakers in terms of time as well, because this is a day when we catch up on our projects in a environment where it's friendly, educational, informative, the whole bit. So I don't want one speaker after another speaker. But I think it's kind of nice. It breaks up the day when I have them as well. And so that's March the 5th. And the links for that are in the show notes. And I do ask, if you are thinking about coming, this is not 100% commitment on your part, drop me a line. Send it to me in my email. Email address is in the show notes. Just saying, yes, I'm planning to attend, and I'll put you in my little database because I'm just trying to keep a set of statistics. I can handle 95 people total with this. And I've already have over 20 that have said they're coming already. So it is starting to sort of fill up. But as I said, this is not 100% commitment because life happens. It is free, by the way, if you didn't realize that already. It's absolutely free, costs you nothing. Okay? So that's March the 5th. Now on March the 4th, the Friday night before, I'm running an icebreaker cocktail party starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You just show up if you're interested in that. And bring your favorite beverage, whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, maybe some snacks, and we're just going to be social. Might play a game or 2 as well. And if you'd like to show us something that you're planning to work on during the retreat, or if you have just a favorite creation you want to show us, bring it to the icebreaker, and you will get an opportunity to do so, to show that. The whole idea behind it and why I call it an icebreaker is because I have people from literally all around the world that could be joining us on March the 5th for the retreat day. So this is just a way for people to start feeling comfortable, especially if it's your first virtual retreat or it's the first time with me on that. Just so you know, people don't bite. Everybody that comes to this retreat have always been friendly, helpful, supportive. So there are no worries. This is a safe environment to enjoy yourself in. And that's what the icebreaker party is going to be like too. We always have a good time at it. So yeah, that's the Friday night. You don't need to send me anything and telling me whether you're going to be attending that or not. I just appreciate it more for the day of the retreat kind of a thing. So, come as you are kind of a thing on the Friday night and enjoy a couple of hours of frivolity. Is that a word? I think it is. So yeah, and one other note about the retreat itself. I have put this in the notes about the retreat. And actually, I think I should be sending out that note with everybody that I got thinking about this earlier this morning. What I've been doing is when people have told me that they're interested, that they're going to come, I have sent them a little thank you note saying, yeah, I got your information, you're in my database kind of a thing. But I just realized that I sent out the detailed invitation about what's happening on both the cocktail party and the retreat itself. I sent those out to the people on my mailing list, but some people are not on my mailing list because they're just seeing this for the first time and they're just reacting to the link, and the link doesn't have information about the retreat. So from here on in, anybody who says that they're coming to the retreat, I will send back to them the details. And for some of you, that may be a duplicate. Sorry about that, but I'd rather make sure that you had that information than not. Okay, so that's what's coming up. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be fun. It's always fun. Okay, so I think that's it for me today. Thanks for tuning in to my vlog. Tomorrow, the Idiot Quilter will go up. I have lots of things to show you and tell you on that one. Some things about the semi-bar that I made and why I'm having problems with it, or why I had the problems with that. And yeah, and later the week, near the end of the week, there'll be So Chatty. I have no idea what we're talking about on that. It'll come to me later in the week. So I hope you have a really great week. I hope you're staying warm if you're in a colder climate right now, and I hope you're staying healthy as well. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.